Hi guys, welcome to Tarot for Tired People, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today is the round 2 of shadow work decks. These are some of my favorite indie shadow work decks, and today we will explore through them the spectrum of catharsis, since there are some decks that are also indie decks can be a little more complex and can help in that cathartic journey. So let's get on with it. Every shadow work deck is cathartic, but the kind of catharsis differs. Some rip the bandage off, others hold your hand while you heal. Tarot of the Holy Spectrum is an indie deck that helps you rip that bandage, helps you confront some of your shadows. I like this deck because that's the kind of energy it holds, but it's also very liminal. It has all these beautiful colors that I love, but it's also, I wouldn't call it minimalist at all, as you can tell by the color palette, but it holds this energy that is quite strong. It is not a wishy-washy, that's not right to say. I don't want to use the word wishy-washy, but it's not a comforting deck. It is the deck you go to when you are ready to confront some truths and do that kind of confrontational shadow work. That is what this deck is for. I absolutely love its energy. It goes really well with my personal oracle. It goes with a lot of other oracles. It's versatile that way. And it strips away, it gives these other kinds of, it's almost like in a liminal space, and it gives a different perspective to traditional RWS meanings. And that's something that I like about it. For example, this is the 9 of Pentacles. It almost has that, the feeling of, you see this image so much in ways to depict abundance, where kings are eating of grapes and all of that. Or here's your 10 of Pentacles, which has this group of people at a gala dinner. So I like how a lot of these cards have been depicted and how they are all in a liminal world, in a different world. It takes you to a different world where you can safely confront your shadows. This is the Tarot of Holy Spectrum. I know they have different editions. This particular edition of mine is, I think it's just called the lime green edition. The next deck I have is an indie deck called Departures Tarot. It's by Nick Jacobs, the same creator as Haptic Tarot. And full disclosure, this is an AI deck. I did not know at the time of buying that it was an AI deck. However, I love this deck. Like, it's a really pretty deck and it's really good for shadow work. This is not a video about my thoughts on AI decks, but I think that when you make the effort to use AI to create art that truly is original, I am here for it. This deck I had bought because I'd seen like the color palette of it, and it really resonated with me as something that would work for shadow work. And it does, because it's so sparse. It's got this sparse desert heat energy, and it, as you can tell from the, while looking at this, that the blacks and the minimal color palette rather strips away a lot of other things. I wish I had his Haptic Tarot, but I don't. And this one has, it's almost like the kind of art that you would find in art galleries. Like, look at this 10 of coins. It's there, but it's not exuding joy, right? So when you are dealing with difficult topics and you're looking for, revelations, and you're looking for confronting some of your shadows, a sparse deck like this really works. And I love the cardstock. I love a lot of things about this deck, honestly. I mean, look at the back, so nice. It is a very good deck. I think he's not going to be, whatever is left is what he's selling, and he said that he's not going to reprint any new this particular deck. So if you do like it, you should grab it, is what I can tell you. This is the Departures Tarot by Nick Jacobs, and he did do it in 2025. So I did not back the Kickstarter. I got it from his website. Can I do a video without Terra Volatile? I don't think so. Yes, it's my soul deck, but it's also my most intimidating deck. I think I've mentioned it in my decks that bring clarity, that I literally hid this away at a time when I still needed it to, have that kind of confront what is going on in my life. But this is how I am about my personal relationships also. The closest people in my life are there because I expect them to be showing me parts of myself and telling me things that I will, I usually don't hide away from a lot of my shadows, but showing me parts that I'm not able to see. So this is what Terra Volatile is. It scares me a little bit. I think it's a brilliant shadow work deck, and I think everyone should have it for that. If it's very confrontational, it is very alchemical. It's obviously very clear. It shows you what you don't want to see, possibly. It gave me the Tower card over and over again when I did not want it, but that's fine. We will live with that. I probably hold a tiny little grudge against it, but it's okay. It will remain my soul deck. It is my soul deck, and yes, it will come up in a lot of videos and all of that, but we can't deny the fact that it has, that's what its energy is. It's not a comforting deck. You go to it with big questions. You go to it when you're trying to find parts of yourself that you can't see yourself, right? And that is why, oops, YouTube's not going to like that. That is why Terra Volatile is definitely an indie shadow work deck right there when you want to confront your shadows. What is an indie shadow work deck? Curation if Reclaim Oracle is not in it, right? We all have it. I understand. I have this is the 99 card, but it's so beautiful also. I think this is the only thing I have in rose petal finish. So the way I use it is, well, in different ways. Sometimes I even use it for clarification, but most of the time I use it in a way where I go through each of these cards to find cards, emotions that, for example, I see the word hurt. I'm like, okay, yeah, I feel that. So then I keep that aside, or frustration. Am I feeling frustrated? Okay, I'll keep that aside. So this is how I kind of process the emotions that I'm feeling. I guess most of us do that with Reclaim, where it helps us process. There are 99 emotions here. You're going to be able to process most of it. Like, I could be feeling really frustrated, but I would not be feeling hate, and that's fine. Now, obviously, to do this, you have to be, I would call it confrontational, but not in a way that it will show you hidden shadows. You have to be a little bit aware, I guess, of your shadows or whatever emotional upheaval if you're going through one. But it is a shadow work deck. There are many ways of using this. I've used it in shadow work spreads as clarification and gone, oh yeah, that's true. That's the emotion that I'm feeling when I think about that particular wound. So it works in beautiful ways. And obviously the cardstock and everything about it, it's a favorite. It's right up there. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it because I think most of us do have the Reclaim Oracle. It's you should. Most of the indie decks that I use in shadow work are oracles. I want to get the Iris Oracle deck, but for shadow work. But right now, let me focus on the deck at hand. This is Faces and Forests. The reason I've included this is because, and I should be mentioning creators when I'm doing an indie curation. It's like Catherine Riles. Yeah, she's the same creator as Roots and Wings Oracle deck. I really like this one. It's got this beautiful brown edging because it is a question deck, and this is the only question deck I have. And I like the kind of question. So it works. It's not just a pure shadow work deck, but it works in various ways where it is a great companion that's soothing and that's cathartic. Watch me use the word catharsis in this video 50 times, but, and forgive me now for that. But I love that it says rooted here. And it also says, how can you deepen your roots and connection with nature? So, or desire, what wish are you releasing into the wind? You give yourself permission to make a wish. So I like the way the questions are framed. They work very well if you're doing shadow work, and they kind of keep, while Terra Volatile will, show you things you don't want to see, this one keeps the temperature low and helps you, and soothes you through it with questions that are gentle. So this is a gentle deck, and that's why it works in many ways. It's very versatile, but I would include it in a shadow work curation. This is The Faces and Forests by Catherine Riles. You can't talk shadow work and catharsis without talking about the Blue Bones Oracle by Rose Bay Tarot. It is, come on. It is everything that is poetry in cards. It is like every single word that she has used or the phrases that she has used is absolutely beautiful. And just the way she's done this deck, by the time I was buying it, I couldn't afford the box, but I just bought the decks because there are so many decks, so many cards in this one. It's an expensive, it comes out expensive, but that's not the creator's fault. Like, look at the shedding card, or you have the poison. So it is a beautiful shadow work deck, but again, in a very cathartic, poetic way, where it is not super confrontational, but you can sit with it and it will give you that space to sit with and help you lick some wounds also. You could write poetry. I've seen a lot of creators write poetry around this, journal it. So once you've started kind of integrating, you've found some wounds and you're putting that bandage on it, these kind of decks really help you go on that journey and understand what it made you feel when you found it, what you felt when you confronted something. Like, did you feel like it was the weight of the world? Did you feel like it was Genesis? So, was it an entanglement that you felt around that emotion? So this is how it's a different kind of processing. I hope I'm able to express myself, but it helps you not just integrate in a way like I mentioned in my mass market video, but in a way where, okay, so I found this wound and this is how I felt about it when I think of it. So this is the Blue Bones Oracle. So many cards still left by Rose Bay Tarot. The Poesis Oracle by Andrea Vaughan, she's Canadian, it has helped me tremendously. It's 77 cards. It's a all of these, like even the Blue Bones Oracle, I think is 108 cards. These are all really, really big decks. But she had done this. I don't have the poetry book, and you also don't need it if you only want to buy this. I always want to ensure that I'm speaking affordability, I'm speaking all of that, because this deck has helped me a lot. And the way she looked at this was, and the way it will work with you is, it represents a different stage or experience, and together they make up the life's journey. So she kind of wanted to simplify tarot in its own way. And the poetry book that comes with it is diving deeper. But this by itself, I just have this, and it still worked tremendously at a time that I needed to do some serious healing. And it gave me insights that were very accurate and very shadowy, almost like confrontational, things I didn't want to see. Like I would get a card that at that time I'm looking for something positive, and I'd get like silence. It wouldn't be, it would be like the words like struggle or chaos. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. But it also helped me. This is not as much of transmutation as much as confrontational. And if you are like, the whole point of this deck from the creator was also that she did not want things to just be esoteric, but wanted to give accessibility to divination. The reason why I'm speaking of it is because that stuck to me, because that's what this deck is. It's very simple, it's very easy to understand, and yet it will help you do deep work. And that, I am here for it. I really am. So this is the Poesis Oracle by Andrea Vaughan. The Death Doula Oracle should be an indie deck, part of anybody's indie shadow work collection, because it works like a medicine deck. That's how I use it, not necessarily by itself, but you don't have to have experienced death of closed ones to be using this deck. This deck by itself helps you process a lot. Like imagine you have gone through a period of loss and you're trying to process it and see what caused it, or parts of you that felt what you felt. A card like From the Ashes is also speaking of you coming alive again. So it's not necessarily that you have to have worked with death or you're processing grief or something like that. None of these need to be pigeonholed into places. Anything that I'm sharing here, they all have a versatility about them that would help you in any kind of healing journey that you're on. And that's what I use tarot for. I use my spiritual practice is really for healing. And this is what it does. It is a really good companion to tarot decks. I use it a lot with Terra Volatile. Because Terra Volatile is so confrontational, this one helps cut through that and kind of soften what the insight is with these beautiful keywords like drifting, or like true will, or torpid, and surrendering. Like, come on. I think you can see why this would be a really good deck. So that's the Death Doula Oracle. The next cathartic deck we have in this collection of indie shadow work decks is The Long Way Home by Numa Collective, Sasha Lopez of Numa Collective. And yeah, it's created by Sasha Lopez. I don't have her other deck because this is the one that I connected with as a concept. And for anybody who has, home as a concept that's a shadow, this would really work. But again, not something that you would have to pigeonhole only into that. If you live in your childhood home and next to your parents, that's different too, because end of the day, this would still work. Like, it is just one of those cathartic decks that help you feel what you're feeling once you've found your shadows and help you process them. Like, look at that. It says, let there be laughter. Or when I was named grief. The cards we are dealt. So this one also is beautiful. Like, obviously with indie decks, I don't even have to say about how great the cardstock is and all of that. But as collage decks go, for someone who's neurodivergent, all collage decks don't work for me. So when I'm choosing a collage deck, it's because it is giving me the vibes, the moody Tumblr vibes, that where we would, if you are a millennial, possibly, you know, there are thousands of these kind of images that we have saved, and we probably save now on Pinterest and things like that, which evoke certain emotions in us. That could be memories, that could be other kinds of memories, things we're going through now, things about the future, etc. And this is how the long way home really works for me. It's like my little folder of Tumblr words and images, and it's very cathartic in its own way. And things like everything has its season, or hardened, beautiful. Sasha Lopez has done a brilliant job with this. This is the long way home. Next up in the cathartic deck section is Somnia Tarot. I didn't think it would be here, but it's actually not confrontational as much as it's cathartic. The thing about a deck, right, is that the deck itself does not know that it's indie. I don't have indie decks because I think they have better cardstock or anything. But why I like indie decks is because the themes are complex. Most of the time, indie decks tend to be a little more complex, and they help you do deeper work than mass market. Because the thing about mass market is it has to be mass market friendly. So when it comes to keywords, when it comes to imagery, artwork, etc., this complexity has to be toned down. That is just how I view it. Not like I know anything about. I'm not a publisher, but the way I see it is the way I'm in marketing. So that's what we would do. Like, we talk about fifth grade language, a language in which everyone will understand. But with indie, you don't have to necessarily do that. And that's why I like the indie decks that I have. About the Somnia Tarot, I've already bought the new version. It's on its way, hopefully. Nicholas, Bruno, if you see this, please send it my way. But it's there somewhere in your orders. But this one, I used to think I had not bought it. I'm like, I cannot buy a deck with these creepy people. Come on. I can't do that. But I did buy it. And it is very cathartic. It is the energetic imprint of this deck is not confrontational. It is very calm. It is very safe. You feel safe with this deck. You're not going to feel like, oh, next I'm going to dream of these creepy people. And if you actually go through the deck, you will notice that the creepy people are not there all over. Most of the time, it's this moody sort of way. But like, look at the Six of Swords. It has him taking off, and the swords remain on that beach. So, or the Eight of Wands and the possible chaos of it. So it still works really well with shadow work, but not necessarily, I will never call it scary again, even though I sat on my decision of buying this for a very long time. But when it came into my life, it could also be it was at the right time, but it really did help me a lot. And I find Terra Volatile a lot scarier than this deck. This is a very cathartic deck. And that's where I would put this. Like, I love that there's the Four of Swords, and there's also, you almost feel that the person's inhibited in that cage almost that's created by the swords. So this is the Somnia Tarot, and hopefully on my channel, I will soon get to show you the newer version of this. But yeah, the court cards, and I think some of the majors is where the covered people are. I even had a problem with the covered horses, but I don't anymore. So that's the Somnia Tarot. And then finally, my current favorite. Oh, wait, I'll do my thing. The Somnia Tarot. Yes, the older version this is. Okay, at the time of filming this is currently my most favorite deck. I think Nicholas Bruno has completely done a fantastic job with this Oracle deck. And look at the number of cards there are. Like, also the gilding's amazing. This is brilliant. I wish I'd got the set, but this is what I do. And I'm like, oh, I don't need that one. I have it. But after working with this, I'm like, I need the newer tarot also, because I love Somnia Tarot so much. So this is the Oracle, and it also comes with this. It's a pendulum board, which has yes and no, unknown, all of that, rephrase. How cute is that? Okay, so please let us get on with this deck. You would have seen a lot of walkthroughs of this right now, but if you're interested in shadow work, this is definitely, it's actually cathartic, but it is also confrontational. It's both. It is Definitely a shadow work deck. It is not, you can tell from the vibe of it. But it has this, it it's amazing. I'm trying to find the words to talk about it, but when you have cards that say the captor, and you think about what are your own limitations, where which are acting like a captor in your life, right? Where do you feel ensnared, or are you the seeker, and what are you seeking? This is how I would look at this deck. I think, yes, there's a little bit of creepiness, but most of the cards are just incredibly great for shadow work. And this is going to be your companion for years to come, because the keywords that are there are very different. So again, very complex. You have dissonance here, you have severance. I once got the severance next to a Two of Cups. And it was incredible because I had the Two of Cups and I had the Severance next to it. So it adds those layers to your reading. And whatever kind of shadow work deck you're using, it's a really good, it's a good starting point. You can read just with it. It's a great companion. You don't just have to use it with Somnia Tarot. You can use it with anything that you feel like, and it can take you places. Like, I have not been able to put it down since it's come, because it's made me think of a lot of things that I'm going through. What is my sanctuary as a watchman? What are the things that you're kind of looking out for? Is it, you're still looking at that horizon, but are you only waiting for the enemy? And in different ways, like the key words are fantastic. The sundering, composure, the guide, or journal, like everything that this one has. Great job. Fantastic job. You have, like, I did an Instagram post on this because I got the presence card. I was doing a thing where I'd pull a card from here and then I'd pull a tarot card. I got presence. And so what's that presence in the room? And I pulled a tarot card and I got Ace of Wands. So the presence is this, the Ace of Wands energy, the initiation, or the fact that recovery has still the house on fire. So yes, I mean, artwork wise, it would go really well with the Somnia Tarot, but it would work otherwise too. Here's the dowsing, and you have this house on fire, but you also have the water being poured on it. Or what is that weight that you feel? So if you can go beyond the creepy covered people, like I did, you will find this a very, very good companion in your healing journey. That's what I can say about this one. It's an exceptional deck, honestly. The keywords, everything, there's nothing like it. This is how we end the series. This is the Somnia Tarot. No, this is the Somnia Oracle. This always makes people go like twice. Okay, so thank you again for being here, being part of this. I hope this helped you. I hope you discovered some new decks, and please do the YouTubey things that you like doing that I would request you to do as a small creator, as a new creator. Please like and subscribe.